Recent K-dramas are returning with new seasons have been enjoying remarkable success. Today, we'll take a closer look at why this season format is becoming increasingly popular in Korean dramas and what makes these sequels resonate with audiences. For that, we're joined by culture critic Professor Chie Hye-won from Kyung Hee University. Welcome back, Professor Z.
Hello, Professor.
Hello, good afternoon.
All right, let's kick off with one of the K-dramas that's already been receiving a lot of enthusiastic response after its release. We're talking about A Shop for Killers Season 2.
Right.
So first off, what did you think of the series?
Actually, personally, I was really looking forward to seeing Shop for Killers Season 2. So now that the 4 of the 8 episodes are out on Disney+. So what I like most is that the new season doesn't simply repeat the success of the Season 1. Instead, it makes the world of the series much bigger. So while the Season 1 was mainly about Jung Ji-an's fighting to survive, Season 2 focuses more on the Jung Jin-man's return and his fight back. So at the conflict with the global organization Babylon grows and the hidden world behind the mother help opens up, the story becomes bigger than just the survival thriller. So it feels more like the beginning of the much bigger franchise.
Right, and you explained a little bit about it there, but just if you have any more detail, that'd be great. But also, you know, some people don't really rate first seasons. Can people just jump into the second season without actually seeing the first?
Yeah, right. The Shop for Killers is based on the Kang Ji-young's novel of the same name. So the story begins when Jung Ji-an suddenly loses his uncle, Jung Jin-man, and discovers that he had been running a secret shopping mall for the professional killers. So from that moment, she is pulled into a dangerous world where the assassins from all over the world begin hunting her. So that technically you can actually start with the Season 2, but I highly recommend watching Season 1 first, because you will understand the characters and their relationships and the secret behind the story much better if you watch Season 1.
So definitely watch Season 1 first. But you know, with seasons, a successful second season needs to satisfy, obviously, the existing fans, and while also offering something fresh, which you sort of explained at the start. I mean, in the past, it wasn't common for K-dramas to have a second season. I read somewhere it's between 5 and 10% of dramas only do that, even in the US, 20 to 30%.
Right.
But in your opinion, how has the second season of A Shop for Killers successfully differentiated itself from, like, say, Season 1?
Right. I think the Season 1 success because it doesn't simply repeat what made Season 1 successful. So instead, it takes the story in a new direction while keeping the elements the fans already loved, like myself. So while Season 1 focuses mainly on Jung Ji-an, the niece, the fight for survivor, the Season 2 expands the story into a much larger conflict with the mother half and the global organization Babylon. As more of Jung Jin-man's story is revealed, viewers begin to see that this isn't just a story about one family, and it's about an entire hidden world. So at the same time, the story keeps the strong characters and the emotional tension that made Season 1 so engaging. So I think that's why Season 2 feels both familiar and fresh as well.
Well, my first impression after watching the trailer, I kind of felt that Season 2 is kind of bigger scale and more action.
Right.
And maybe that can be true after you shoot a first season, and then you can invest more in it and maybe put more action into it, more effects and so forth.
Yes, I believe so.
And it's not the first time, though, that Korea is seeing successful K-drama sequels. We've got some very successful names there. Could you give us some examples?
Yeah, right. The Squid Game or the Sweet Home. So I think the season format really becomes familiar with the rise of OTT platforms. So in the past, as Walter just mentioned, so most Korean dramas told a complete story in one season. So we didn't actually call season. So it's a complete story. So today more series are designed to build a larger story over multiple seasons. So of course, Squid Game is the biggest example. So it showed that the Korean drama could grow into a global franchise. A Kingdom and Sweet Home proved that fantasy and thriller series could successfully expand their worlds across multiple seasons. While Weak Hero demonstrated how strong characters and emotional storytelling can keep audiences invested. So I would also mention the DP. So rather than simply continuing the story, DP uses the season format to explore its characters and social themes in much greater depth. So I think this series shows that the successful sequels are built on strong stories, not just popularity.
And as we are seeing for the second half of this year, there are actually a fair few dramas having next season. Are there any that you're particularly looking forward to or that viewers or K-drama lovers should really look out for?
That's right. There are several exciting titles coming back in the second half of this year. So the ones that I'm mostly looking forward to are Moving and Made in Korea, All of Us Are Dead, and Flex X Cop. So each of them represent different strengths of Korean series. While Moving, I'm so much interested in seeing how Kangpul's universe continue to expand while keeping its emotional core. And Made in Korea has the potential to take the Korean political crime thriller to another level with the larger scale and more complex storytelling. And with the All of Us Are Dead, I am curious to see how the stories evolves beyond the traditional zombie drama through the new characters and the broader world. Also with the Flex X Cup returning next week, actually, it will be interesting to see how the story builds on its unique blend of crime investigation, action, and comedy. So more than anything, I think viewers should pay attention to how these series balance familiarity and originality. So a successful new season isn't just about making everything bigger. It's about giving audiences a reason to come back while still offering something new.
You know, I'm especially looking forward to All of Us Are Dead, and it's going to be interesting to see the new characters and the original characters because they need new characters because many of the characters, yes, turned into zombies, but maybe we'll see some zombies become humans again. I don't know. Looking forward to that one. But Professor Z, in your opinion, what would you say would be the most important, let's say, ingredient for a successful season 2 or season 3 or 4?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge for season 2 is, like any seasons, is finding the right balance. So a second season has to reward the fans who have been watching it and waiting for it, as like myself. But it also has to welcome the new people who are watching the series for the first time. That means that it can't simply repeat what worked before, but it also shouldn't change so much that it loses its identity. So the best sequels stay true to original while giving the story and the characters and the world room to grow. So at the end, I think the great season 2 leaves the audiences feeling that the series has moved forward, so not just continued. So that's why it keeps people excited for what's coming next. Whatever coming next, actually.
I have to agree with that.
Yes, and you and I briefly touched upon it before that, you know, Korean dramas really aren't known for having like second seasons. Only it's sort of come recently. There have been a few dramas in the past that have, you know, gone for a long time, but it's not a common thing within Korea. But it does seem that, you know, this next generation of people who are watching dramas are changing that and also changing the format, therefore making more seasons, more demands for new seasons. What do you think has driven that shift?
Yeah, I think there are like three main reasons. First, OTT platforms. OTT platforms have completely changed the way people watch the dramas. Viewers are now much more willing to follow the story over multiple seasons than they were in the past. So second, the Korea now has a much stronger ecosystem of the original IP. Successful web novels or webtoons and original scripts provide the creators with the story that can naturally grow beyond a single season. Finally, the global audiences themselves changed it as well. So global viewers are already familiar with the long-running seasons series, so they comfortable investigating characters and storylines over the longer period of time. So today's success isn't just about producing one hit drama. It's about creating a story that can continue to grow while keeping audiences engaged over the long period of time.
What's actually interesting is that in Korea, we actually had some very long dramas. It was just one season, but the episodes were like, I don't know, 20, 30, more than 30
like
episodes.
16 or 20,
right.
Yes.
And if you have short, for instance, 3-season dramas that have like 8 episodes, it's actually not that big of a difference, but there's a longer term that the fans have to wait for. I guess that's also a different strategy that we're seeing there. But last but not least, Professor Z, would you say that K-dramas have now then entered the franchise era, and what would be the competitive advantage for Korea's approach?
Yes, I do. I think the K-dramas have clearly entered the franchise era, and one of the Korea's biggest strengths is that, as I just mentioned, its ecosystem of original IP, especially webtoons and web novels. We actually earlier mentioned these topics. So because these stories already have well-developed characters and detailed words, and of course loyal fan bases, fan communities, they are well suited to continue across multiple seasons. So they give the creators a much stronger foundations that they're starting from new scratch. So another advantage is that a successful drama doesn't end with their series itself. They can grow into the films or animations, games, or other forms of content, so allowing one story to reach audiences in many different platforms. So that's why I think the Korean approach is unique. So it's not simply about making more seasons. It's about building a story that can continue to grow, so connect with audiences across the different platforms and ultimately become a long-lasting franchise.
All right, it'll be exciting to see which Korean dramas will become the next global franchises.
Right.
And thank you very much, Professor Z, for your insights, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Walter, as always. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you back next week.
See you next week.